there is an uncapped
Yes.
income potential with this career.
Yeah, because like you have to lose to learn.
Now, but it's weird. You see these payouts coming out of people taking $2.5 million payouts. And I wonder how much of a chunk was made in this volatility. Probably a lot of it was made in the volatility.
Welcome to the Unnamed Trading Podcast. These are my good friends, Randy and Christine, who I've had the pleasure of meeting, hanging out with, having some drinks, and trading live alongside with at multiple different conferences. And we're here to share our experiences as traders. We're here to give the community a place to chat, a place to have conversations, and just to talk about our experiences as new traders in the come up phase. You know, we've all had different experiences in markets. Some of us being, you know, in investing for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, while, you know, some people were just day trading for, you know, just a couple years, 2 years, 3 years. So, you know, with that all being said, why don't we go around the table and get a little introduction? And Randy, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, so my name's Randy. I've been trading now, actively trading futures for the last 14 months. Let's call it a year. I'm in my second year of trading. Prior to that, I had no experience trading. I did about 10 years ago buy and sell my own stock. So I thought I was trading, but only to find out now that I was an investor. It's a much different thing, day trading and being an investor. So yeah, I was in the markets for a bit, and I lost a lot of money, and I decided to take a break for about 10 years. And here I am now trading futures, and I'm trading alongside Thomas and Christine, and just on this journey of learning how to be a successful, profitable trader. Yeah, and that's it. Christine?
My name's Christine. First of all, Thomas, I think we got to scratch the come up slogan that you keep saying. We got to throw it out. But my name's Christine. I've been trading for 2.5 years. I was a COVID baby trader, basically sitting around having babies at home, trying to find a way to make money. So that's when I started, and I met you guys about a year and a half ago? And that's when I started.
No, a year and a half. No, it was in October, right?
No.
Yeah, almost a year and a half.
No,
Really?
Yeah, since BSC started. Anyways,
we met in October of 2024.
But yes. I met you online.
Fair enough.
Like we all got in the BSC roughly of January of 2024.
Yeah,
it's kind of when we started.
Yeah. I was trading stocks beforehand, still day trading, and then I switched to futures, and it's been about a year this May in futures. Yeah. That's my story.
Yeah, and me, Thomas Kello. I've been trading for about 2 years now. I got into trading because I got fired from a W-2 job, and I was a great employee, and it was like the most eye-opening experience for me, because I feel like everyone has a moment in their life where if they're going to go on this entrepreneurial path, they know the time where they decided to make that change. And that was the moment for me. That was about 2 years ago. And yeah, since then, I've just been learning to trade. I found Austin, who's our mentor, ASFX. That's the trading group that we're a part of. In the Blackshirt Club is the private mentorship. So we all do live streaming on ASFX TV. And then we met in the private mentorship with Austin Silver and his team. So I started trading with Austin, and then got to meet him in London, and then got to meet all of you guys at some of the other conferences we went to. And yeah, it's been nothing but an amazing journey for me. And I've loved these friendships that have come from it. And now we're, starting a podcast together. So, what can you say about that? That's pretty cool.
Couldn't imagine any of this if you really look back, right? Look all the way back to LA and think about meeting for the first time. And here we are now sitting making a podcast. So it's anything's possible.
So Randy, what do you want to, what's like your overall message that you want to share through this podcast, at least at the start here? What drove you to want to be a part of this?
So for me, it was, just getting, I've been fortunate enough to trade in a group, to trade with you guys, and to have that community and the communication and the camaraderie and all these things that went along with being struggling trader and struggling with other traders that are struggling. And I think for me, the message of this podcast, and I'm only realizing now as I started making YouTube content and social media content, and people would reach out to me and say, it's good to hear this. I stayed flat today, or I was green today because of something I saw you do. And for me to get that back is like, I can imagine somebody just learning from one of my mistakes instead of having to make that mistake. And, just the more you share, the more you put out there in the world, the more good things that are going to come from it. So if I can put something good out back into the world and one person takes something away from it, then this podcast, this conversation, everything I do is worth it. That's all I need. Nothing more than that. And also my own personal growth. As you discuss with people and we have guests on and we talk to each other and we bounce ideas, we just constantly learning as a group and evolving. And it's just another way to evolve and to give back and, just to grow, I think.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Randy.
Absolutely.
When are you changing your X name to Coach Randy?
I don't know.
The Coach Randy Bains.
I don't know. I actually had a phone call today with somebody that trades on the ASFX stream that reached out to me, and he doesn't even trade. He's actually just getting into trading. Nice. Signed up for ASFX for the stream just to watch the stream and watch Futures 2.0, and reached out to me and said he's got a 5.5-month-old, and he said, "You know what? I've been watching all your YouTube content. I've been watching you on Instagram, and there's something about you that I wanted to reach out and ask you if you wanted to coach me." Cool. And I said, coach you. I'm like, this is the amount of, he's starting like when I started 14 months ago, I didn't even know what a chart was. I knew what a chart was, but I didn't have trading view. I didn't know what indicators and none of this stuff, price action, none of it was all new to me. I just knew how to go onto my Investor's Edge account through my bank and to buy stocks and sell stocks. I didn't know anything about, looking at moving averages or any of that stuff. And that's where he is. So for me, it's super cool to see. It's almost like seeing myself going back in time. And now I can, hopefully, if things work out and we start a relationship, I can just think of all the mistakes I made and hopefully catch them with him before he makes them. So, but yeah, no, I would love to do some coaching. That's kind of it was never a plan. It was never part of the picture when I started trading. I just wanted to make a lot of money and fly on private jets and, stay at the Ritz-Carlton. Like,
oh my God.
To be like everybody else that got into trading, we all thought it's we're going to be 100 millionaires the next day and we're going to be driving Lambos and Ferraris. I will, don't get me wrong, but it takes a lot longer than you think. That's
what
all.
I really want to know is what is the in-between stage? I was thinking about this today because when I first started trading, I was looking for like the normal pay that you could get as a trader, like a normal person's pay. Like I want to be rolling in millions, of course, but what's the in between from like here, not making any money to making millions? Like what's the normal in between that I can expect? Do you guys like even know that?
No. So were you able to find anything like a general income for a day trader?
The closest thing that I found was Andrew Aziz's book, I think, How to Become a Day Trader. He was really practical. And I think in his book, if I remember right, it's what got me into trading. But I think he talked about making like $500 a day. And that to me, I was like, fuck yeah, I want to make $500 a day. Like I'm sitting at home with my kid. I don't have any dollars coming in today. So $500 sounds great, but obviously have not made $500 daily yet. So I am still curious as to like what the normal, like in between beginner and crazy millionaire trader makes.
I think the normal is negative. I think that's the normal, but of the success, I mean, I think it's low six figures. If you're asking me what the normal, just somebody they're just hanging out, they're a trader, they're doing their thing, they're on their own, they're not making content or anything. I think there's a lot of accounts that are churning low six figures, pre-tax, and then just being quiet rich guys.
So I'm trying to think, what is that? There's a number that you see come up on Instagram all the time. I'm just doing the math on it, guys. But let's see. So $380 a day works out to That can't be right. $300, I saw somewhere a number like 200 and something dollars a day equals $100,000 a year. So if you can
I
make,
think that's if you don't have weekends and stuff.
Mm.
right?
Like at a regular job where I was making like $20 an hour, working 10 hours, that's $200 a day. I made $50K.
Yeah, so that's what.
Do you think all of our expectations are skewed? Because like if you think about it, going to a job for an hourly wage of $20, I mean, you can make more than $20 in trading in an hour, but because trading can give you so much money, do you think our expectations of how much we should be making are like totally skewed?
You know, I think maybe the expectation of like how much you should make is skewed, especially for how far we've been in.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite trading podcasts is Alpha Mind podcast with Stephen Goldstein, and him and Mark Randall, they preach 2 to 3 years. If you make any money, you just got lucky.
Yeah.
You just got lucky in your first 2 to 3 years. So I think in some way, yeah, I have a skewed expectation that I expect to be making any money right now. And I'm still haven't even completed like my first 2 years of like real trading. I've been in markets for more than 2 years, but once I really started to learn what trading is like, I'm like, no, that first year doesn't count at all. That was like Investopedia research and, throwing an EMA on and like pressing buy and sell. But what I love about trading and what really gets me motivated to get up in the morning is like there is an uncapped income potential with this career. And same with just entrepreneurship, but like this is it's a very niche venture in entrepreneurship. And the fact of how uncapped it really is it always amazes me and it just makes me motivated.
Wow. Oh no. So like speaking of Alpha Minds, I listened to PAX on Alpha Minds. And this is a number that always stuck in my head. It's one of the first podcasts I listened to because James Bruce, who is also one of the coaches and mentors at ASFX, got me into Alpha Minds when I first started trading. He was my first coach. And PAX, they have a number when we used to work on the floor, and it was $4,000 a day. And $4,000 a day equals $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And so that was the goal. And then for the longest time, I looked at how I could copy trade Apex and go to make a $200 trade and multiply that by 20 accounts. And there's your $4,000 a day. So it sounds easier. That sounds very easy. I tried doing it and I couldn't do it and I failed it, but I was failing also challenges left, right, and center. It's something I will be approaching later this year again to try and scale up the capital and to be able to copy trade a bunch of accounts. But it's just how we all have different skewed versions of what we think we should or shouldn't be making. And this goes to one of my favorite things that have come out of trading is when I go to these events, it's not that we're all, like I like to say it, like you're surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals with similar goals. Like some guy could want to make $1 million, some guy could be happy with making $100,000 in a year, right? So it's super cool in that sense that we all have these skewed interpretations of what we think we should be making or what. It's the cool thing about trading is all I'm trying to say, like how we can all just kind of be having different goals, but have the same big picture goal at the end of the day is to be a profitable trader, whatever that profit equals.
Like, what are your goals?
My goal was to make $1 million this year, but
this year.
Yeah, this year.
Well, this is the thing about the way we're even discussing it now is like we all know you're not going to make $4,000 a day.
No,
you're not. You're going to make it. You're going to lose it. You're going to make it. And as much as Peter Brandt is like the old guy in the community that just hating on everything, he talks about the Pareto principle, which is 80-20.
80-20.
So I mean, I'm like trying to lean into that as a trader as much as possible to really just like I feel like these first 3 months of the year. So I decided to go part-time at my my day job this year and commit full-time trading. So I definitely had like I expected to make a lot of money in the first 3 months, and I took a couple payouts and whatnot, but I was really looking at everything from a day-by-day basis, and even a week-by-week basis. It was like, okay, if I trade well, I can take a payout at the end of this week, rather than just saying I could take a payout at the end of this month. So like going into Q2, now I'm like, I just want to make 10K in Q2. So I'm trying to give myself like larger time frames for goals so that I'm not so focused on a daily P&L and more focused on a monthly P&L.
Yeah.
And just the habits.
Yes.
And to go back, like the whole $1 million goal I set this year, I still have that goal. And it's this thing that Tim Ferriss talks about, just setting unrealistic goals.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing. But what I think I was doing was I did set this unrealistic goal. And then every morning when I did my daily contract, I was writing at the end, manifesting that I'm going to make $1 million. And I think by doing that, I was putting that $4,000 number in my head every day when I'm trading.
Right.
And it would lead to how I would trade, where now I don't even, today I had a $400 day and yesterday I had a $35 day. But at the end of the day, when I look at my week, I'm still working towards kind of like what Thomas is saying. I have a goal I want to hit before Tampa. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let it make or break my trip to Tampa. And what I used to do was, before is I'd force it. Like, oh, I want to do this, or I'm going to have it in this time. And it's like, even Austin said it this morning on stream when he's like, I can get this to a payout today, but I don't think he realized the payout window doesn't open till next Wednesday. So why even rush it? You're not taking the payout today, and you're not taking that money and going and pay your gas bill before your gas gets shut off. So it's like, why rush the process? Like, it's not going to make a difference. You get it today, you get it tomorrow. What does it matter? Like, just follow your process, and then eventually you'll scale up, and those $500 days will hopefully be $5,000, or they will be $5,000 days, right?
Yep.
What are your goals, Christine?
I have a goal of making 50,000 a month consistently, and I wouldn't reach that goal until I've made it like over a 3-month period. So one of those months could be like 75K and the other could be 30. Like, make the math, but it doesn't have to be exactly 50K each month. But if you're looking at it like a quarter, it should be anywhere from 150 to 200,000 per quarter. So that's my overall goal in the next 5 years. That's my 5-year goal.
So as this is a trading podcast, let's talk a little bit about the opportunities with funding companies in this space right now. And also, do you see yourself achieving that goal with a personal account or with a funded account?
I probably with a funded account, but a live trading funded account. Okay. I use basically what I would do, or what I am doing, is, taking advantage of the fact that I can use prop firms right now to learn and to get to the point that I could be making. To make 50K, I have to do $3,333 a day with the amount of days I trade a day. But that's going to take like a while to get to that consistency. And I can use prop firms to help teach me that, but hopefully also build a relationship with a prop firm that I would eventually go live to. And at that point, that's where I could get to the point of making 150K per quarter.
When someone asks you to explain a prop firm, how do you explain it? And because it's not a prop firm, it's a funding company. And I always find
confusing. Have you ever tried to explain what a prop firm is to people that don't trade? I can't even explain it. It's unreal. Like, there's no hope.
My best explanation is that a proprietary trading firm is a real, like a Wall Street firm where they have in-person offices, and they teach you themselves their company strategy. Then once you show the company, they give you money that is real live funds that you trade with them, but under their strategy, in like mostly in person.
Yes.
So that's like a proprietary trading firm. Anybody who's interested, SMB Capital by Mike Bellafiore in New York is a great one to research. Now, on the other hand, there's maybe the technical term is funding company, and they've been around for over a decade now. Both FTMO, which is a European-based company, and then Top Step, which is an American Chicago-based company. They're a company where you can. It's essentially the same thing where you trade some of their capital, but you trade your own strategy. And before you're moved up to a live account, you trade in simulated funds to show them that you're worthy of the live account,
Yeah.
specifically because you didn't trade their strategy. You
Yeah.
trade your own strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds totally simple.
It sounds very simple, but also, it's just something totally
So
out there that I think, like when I was just telling one of my buddies about it a couple days ago, he's sitting on the couch laughing at me like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Like what he's like, "What is this?" So,
I've told one person and they're like, it sounds like a scam. And I'm just like, I don't know how to say, like, you're basically paying paying for a job interview.
Yeah.
And you're paying for a job interview. And then if you get into the job interview, you have an evaluate, you know what I mean? You have your
on a commission basis.
Yeah.
It's like a commission basis job.
Yeah.
And, no, but the path to live for me is a big, is something like Christine said. A path to live is something I'm really looking forward to because I don't want to be a sim farmer. But when I first joined the BSC, I never even heard the term sim farmer. People weren't even using that yet. It wasn't really a term until Tradeify came out, and I think they might have even coined the term. But I don't want to be a sim farmer. I want to make money off these prop firms. Why not? Like, you'd be silly not to. But
especially after, like, we got to meet the CEO and founder in person at these events, it's like I can tell you do want to develop a reputation and some type of relationship as well.
Well, I heard from another trader, actually, Isaac, and he was talking about like the way that he does their system to get to live, and it was actually really interesting how you just build up like a $20,000 account and take your $5,000 payout, and then get 15,000 moved over to live. And if you did that on 3 accounts, you'd be going into a live account with 45 grand. Now imagine you had $45,000 of drawdown. You would be.
The reality is you paid like $1,000 for that opportunity.
Yes.
Right? And now you can really, if you are a smart, disciplined trader, you can trade with some size.
Yeah.
And those $4,000 days don't seem too crazy anymore.
No.
Right.
Exactly.
So even with $6,000 of drawdown in these 150K accounts, if we're in a volatile time, I'll give it that, but you can still make some really good money. But at the flip side of that is if you lose some really good money, there goes your basically you're going to blow your account. Yeah. Well, with 45K, now you're talking, you can afford a $3,000 or $4,000 hit. It's still 10% of your drawdown. It's quite a lot, but still you live to fight another day. Right. So,
but that's the beauty of the challenges and doing it, like going through the prop firms before you even get to the live. Like, you get the chance to blow your account over and over again, because if you don't get that experience, like, have you ever heard of investors that talk about they won't invest with you or work with you until you've lost $500,000?
I've read that somewhere, actually.
Yeah, because like you have to lose to learn, to be a good trader, a good investor, a good business person. Like, you look at the most successful businesses out there, they're all people who have failed multiple times. So you have to lose. Like, you have to have those red days. And that's what I think prop firms give you. It's like almost a luxury that I can have. Well, what did I fucking have? 6 red days in a row and not actually be losing that money. I paid whatever it was, $300 for that account. I lost way more than $300 simulated funds. But I have the luxury to like get the experience from losing using prop firms before I get to a live account, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so our mentor, Austin, lost 40K in the first 2 years of trading. That's live money. Yeah. And that was 8 or 9 years ago. You know, like before this was an opportunity. And then just going all the way back to Stephen Goldstein and, the learning curve. We all met at the Conscious Trading Academy conference, where David Capablanca, who's a small cap short trader, like his number one takeaway, like his lesson that he was trying to instill in all of us was like, survive the learning curve.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just survive the learning curve. So using a prop firm to help survive that learning curve has been exponential in our growth.
How much did you guys put in so far of your own money towards trading? Prop firms, training, like all of it.
So I'll go. So prop firms specifically, 4K. Specifically prop firms.
Yes.
Trips. I've done I think 6 conferences now. And this next one, we're going to be doing an in-person conference in like 5 days. So I think
first class tickets, baby.
Probably like 5K in conferences, because
Okay.
that includes me
Yes.
flying to London,
Yes,
all
that
this.
was a big one.
Yep. And then BSC, that was 6.
Yeah.
So I'm in like 15 plus,
Okay.
something around that. But when you think about it as like a college tuition,
Yes.
I went to college for under 20K.
Yes.
And I truly do believe that I have the knowledge to make money trading now.
Yep.
And it's just me figuring out myself more and being more in tune with myself, so I can, have the proper habits every time instead of 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Randy, were you looking up your numbers?
No, I was actually looking at a name for the podcast, but we'll talk about it after. It came to me and I wanted to see if it was taken before I said anything, because I didn't want to say it on here and then it'd be taken. So
oh my God.
But
gotta listen to the next one to know the name.
But like Thomas was saying, I'm at that exact same crossroads where it's not necessarily about my style of trading, it's how I emotionally trade. And to get past that next part is kind of, that's part 2 of the learning curve for me, of who knows how many, of a never ending. I shouldn't even say part 2. It's going to be, that's the thing with trading, you're learning forever. If you read any good trader, there's always some new strategies coming out, or just something new to look at that makes sense, whether you adopt that strategy or not. But you're always evolving as a trader, right? So, and I've spent, including my computer and the trips and everything, like maybe $20,000. But I don't look at anything. I only ever look at what I spent on evaluations and activation fees. How much I spent on the actual trading itself. Because if I did this on my own, I would have needed the computer. I would have done my office. I would have gone on these trips probably and met people. Like I still would have done. That's all the cost of doing business. But the actual the $5,000 or $6,000 I've spent on prop firms compared to the 50 or 60 I would have lost this year, easy. I would have put a couple grand in an account every month and probably blown it, and then did it again the next month. Because when you do it in small increments, it doesn't sound like a lot, but after a year, you're down 24 grand or 36 grand. Like, so for me,
that's a great point.
For me, it's I look at it like, I think I said this to Christine. I was at the end of last year, I was in $4 grand or something, 3,500, but it worked out to like $500 a month.
Yeah,
that's nothing.
It cost me to sit at the desk every single day for hours and trade, and not paper trade on a trading view account, throwing 10, 20 minis around and, having this. We are trading sim, but I'm trying to trade a realistic P&L.
Yeah.
I was explaining to this guy today about the coaching call. He was saying the one thing I don't like about paper trading, and as I did it in the very beginning, is one trade I did was something I had like 10 minis on, and I made $35,000 in the trade. You move that over to the prop space, your account's blown.
Yeah.
Your consistency target is ruined. Like, there's no way that's going to make you a profitable trader, right? So it's one of those things. And I said to him, I'm like, if I were you and I was learning, I would buy the cheapest evaluation account I could find. I would trade 1 or 2 micros and just learn to trade. That account will last you a month. And if it's $50 for that account, that's $50 that you put into your trading account. And that's what you traded with.
And then you move on to the next month.
And that's it. And then eventually I'll get to a point where maybe if it's someone else, I would say, hey, get a straight to funded. If I had a coach now and I knew what I knew trading, I would just go straight to a straight to funded account. I wouldn't get an evaluation, right? But when I first started, you have to do evals. That's how you learn.
Yeah.
So that's a cool thing about the straight to funded now in the prop space, is there's somewhere for everyone. I just had a friend get in. He's been trading for 4 or 5 years by himself. And I just got him into futures, and he just got a straight to funded account, and he's pretty close to a payout.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But he's been trading by himself, personal capital, for 5 years, options, this edge, that edge. I put him in, got him on the ASFX stream.
Nice.
He just does futures now, a few hours every morning. Right. So I saw his calendar the other day. I saw his calendar the other day, and he has like $300 days. And I'm like, that's awesome. And he sent me a picture of his calendar, but he had 37 trades. So that's the next thing we got to work on, is he's going like $5 or $10 winners, like 20, like scalping 20 bucks.
Out of it.
So I'm like, that's the next thing. That's not sustainable. Like, you can't trade 50 trades a day and size up. Like, you're going to get smoked.
Yeah.
So But anyways, but yeah, no, I think that's it. Just like Thomas said, surviving. I'm stuck on, that's the name. Sorry guys, I'll just blab it out now, but surviving the learning curve. So
yeah, but what happens when we've survived it and we're like 5 years from now and this podcast is still going?
then it just turns into the curve.
The curve.
The
Why
curve.
don't you call it the curve? I like that.
We'll come and put our fingers out like this and be welcome to the curve.
Okay, this is going really in line with Thomas's slogan, come up, like the curve. Come up and listen to our podcast.
I feel like it's this space is so dominated by people who are using fake accounts, fake P&Ls, rented cars, whatever it is to get an affiliate click. And the reason I started doing any content at all was I just wanted to do a review video. Then I just wanted to post the review video. And then I got people commenting saying, hey, like, this is so relatable. This is so helpful. Like when I first started, I remember I would have like a question about trading and I'd ponder it for weeks. I couldn't find an answer. Like I just simply couldn't find a good answer online. So the best thing I could do is just be honest and be transparent about where I am. And I know there are a lot of people who are either going to be where we are at now and relate a lot to that, or be far under, and still 2 months into learning curve, but want to see what does it look like in 2 years when I'm not making 100K a month, but I'm also trading properly and I know what I'm doing here. Yeah. So it's like I think we fill that middle ground of just being a transparent, regular people, Yeah.
There's no more realness than what there is right here.
No, it's such a wide swath too of like just even like ages, demographics, everything is just like.
Talk about age, Randy. Why you got to bring that up?
I'm the oldest one here, so see all these gray hairs?
Really?
Austin loves to make fun of me. He actually sent me a reel that he posted and added me to the reel. I didn't even watch it, and I added it to it. And then a comment came in on the reel, and I looked at the comment, and it was somebody saying, why you got to do Randy dirty like that? And I watched the reel, and it was Austin talking about how old, like it was just making a joke about him being old, and I should know about recessions and whatnot. And I was just like, but some random person doesn't even know me commented, why you got to do Randy dirty, or like, why, what's with the strays at Randy, or like was totally had my back. And so I made sure I commented back to her, like in the thread, like, I don't know why he always does me dirty either. Right. But it's I'm used to the old jokes. But you know what, on the flip side, you got to think, if I can do this at 43, anybody can do this. Yeah. That's what you got to remind yourself. Like,
that's what keeps me motivated.
So you got many years before you're my age. So don't worry about it. You got lots of time to catch up.
Thomas,
and that's so funny. I think of it the opposite. I'm like, if I'm 23, anyone can do this. Anyone who's older than me can easily figure this out. Like, I feel like I'm the one that doesn't, because it's like you just need to, I feel like you just need to know yourself first and foremost. And like, I've found out a lot of things about myself. Like just a couple days ago, I was figuring out, when I got into trading, I learned like a few things are like this is going to prevent you from being successful. And one of them was like the need to be right. And I told myself like, no way. Like, no way. I have no ego about it. I don't care. Turns out I care quite a bit about being right. And so like, that's what I found out 2 years into this. And basically just that, like, you just got to put in the time, but like age doesn't really matter in this game. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I agree. No, and the whole ego thing is, I did it yesterday. I wanted to be right on 2 scalps, and it just, luckily I was able to have the awareness to have a tight stop and to walk away, but it still cost me $200. But at the end of the day, it's $200. Like, it's still something. And but it just, I have to be right though. But it's just, I have to be right. Yeah. Like, I want to be, and it's, this is what traders see emotionally, and this psychological side of trading for me is, I know me and Austin don't see eye to eye on it, and he's more like technical in charts, but for me, the psychological thing is huge. It's beyond huge. It is something else that you don't like. I'm not a gambler. I like to play like silly games of chance and gamble like that, but I don't go to the casino and play blackjack or any of these other games. And I never understood what like people get this addiction to gambling until I started trading. and trading prop money and sim money, because it easily turns into a game that you're gambling now. And when you're in volatile markets, this gambling thing becomes even more real, because you could have made it. Think about how much money you could have made on that one. Can you guys hear that lawnmower? I wasn't expecting
Yeah,
it.
I can. I'm like,
I'll
what is
mute my
that
mic. That's
sound?
me. That's me.
Oh no, I got a lawnmower going on outside here too. Like, what is the timing for that? Like,
It's a
so now
lawnmower.
we know maybe this time is terrible because everybody's cutting their grass.
Yeah.
There's a lawnmower outside. It's the guy cutting the grass right outside my window.
Oh
But I
my
can't hear yours. Can you hear mine?
We can hear one of yours. I just hear a lawnmower. It's so loud, but it's
Yeah.
one here, I think.
Okay,
But,
I'll mute myself when I'm not talking.
But I was wondering, like, that. What was that candle on Wednesday? 600 points. Imagine having 5 minis, 1 mini at the bottom of that candle, and watching your P&L as it goes up. And if you don't have a trailing drawdown and you don't get blown on like the little pullbacks, like, can you imagine being in that move? And you see now, but it's weird. You see these payouts coming out of people taking $2.5 million payouts. And I wonder how much of a chunk was made in this volatility. Probably a lot of it was made in the volatility, right? Like, you're on the right side of a trade. I think who did just said it? I listened to somebody just say it. Tom Basso. He's like, if you're on the right side of any of those moves, you're printing money. Like, it's silly. Like,
But isn't that the problem with prop firms though? Like, I've never traded with Apex, so they must not have a consistency rule.
no consistency rule. They just have minimum $200 a day, and then you have your trailing drawdown in the beginning, which is what gets you.
But now with prop firms like Tradeify, like having their consistency rule, and what is it, Top Step, that's bringing out a consistency rule, like, you can't maximize on those moves. Like, I remember one day I was in that Trump candle or whatever it's called, and I had to get out at $1,000 because if I made more than that, I was going to fuck my consistency.
Yeah.
Pointless. Like, why are you even in it? If so it's like, that's a little, I think that's a downside, but it's also giving you good training, because another opportunity, another time of volatility will come around in our trading career. And that point we might be trading live. So, maybe we didn't get in on this Trump candle, but for 8 years from now, there's going to be another one that we can.
Then I'm going to throw 10 minis on it, and you'll see. Then I'm buying a private jet for everyone. Everybody gets their own jet.
Bali, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's exactly why I trade both. Like, I like trading both because it feels weird to be like, I can only make this much.
Yes.
Because the whole point of trading is to
Make it all.
this quote, I will remember this forever. Pax, we'll talk a lot about Pax in this podcast. He said, risk management will get you to break even. Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Profit management will get you profitable. Profit exploitation will make you free.
Mm.
I love that. That to me, I absolutely love it. When you tie it in with best loser wins concept from that book, it all makes sense. And so the way the prop firms structure it doesn't allow for real trading, if that's what we want to call it.
Yeah, because they're a business at the end of the day. Like, they're not just there to give us handouts. They've made a very attractive business model so that people like us buy their accounts. Like, that's how they make their money. They can't make it this perfect world. But that's why I think trading live with a prop firm has to be the direction of the majority of people that can't, like, totally gamify the prop world, which I just could never. So having that route to live trading, oh my God, that lawnmower is so distracting, Randy. Go out there and just tell him to stop cutting your lawn.
All right, we're back. There's just a lot of lawnmowers going on. We got both of us got lawnmowers in the background. So we're gonna slowly wrap it up here. And just a point that I kind of want to make before we end here is the reason I think this podcast is going to resonate with the audience is traders are sometimes lonely. It's a lonely game, and it's a very difficult game. Just to use Christine as an example, she's been on a little bit of a red streak, and I think she made a tweet the other day that was like, I'm contemplating, if I want to quit, or I'm contemplating, what am I doing here? And I know Randy gave her a call, and they were able to chat it up and remind each other, what's going on. So I hope that we can be that message for the community that, you got to survive the learning curve. It's a tough struggle, but it's always worth it in the end. and you know that we can relate to a lot of people like that.
Can you guys
Boom.
see?
Oh my
There you go.
gosh. Why you
Green,
gotta show
box,
it?
green boxes never look so good. That's
Yeah.
what the caption says.
Yeah, I think the message is if we're still going, if we're not quitting, then who's ever listening, you can't quit either. And I can promise you that the three of us will be at the end one day. So just keep listening and keep going, and you will also get there.
And to kind of wrap it all up and follow on what Christine Thomas said, and just to remember, you're a new trader, and it's a battle, it's a struggle, and be kind to yourself. And you're learning. It's okay to make mistakes. You know, don't let your current situation dictate things. If you really want change and you really want something in life, you know, it's theirs for you to grab. Theirs for you to grab. Just on that journey, be kind to yourself, because it's not going to be easy. That's all I can say. But here we are. Look at us. We're all smiling. We're laughing. Yeah. It's a Thursday afternoon, right? We all got to trade today. Everybody made some money. Like,
who was green today?
What more? Yeah. What more could you want in life? That's what I mean. Like, this is what it's all about, right? So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we're gonna have guests on. We're gonna be bringing all sorts of different people on, so we can get different conversations going, and hopefully some of our viewers as well, because that's very important for us. So, with that all being said, cheers everybody, and have a great rest of your day.
See you
guys later.